Hello, everyone. This is Brother Benson, and I'm joined with my good friend Kibra on the studio. Today is a Wednesday, and there's quite much that is taking place in the political atmosphere that we will weigh our thoughts on. And I hope and believe that all of you are doing very well. For those of us who also will those of you to join the conversation, it is very important. We highly
Hello, I can hear you, but I don't know whether it's on my side. Allow me to just log out and come back again because I can hear your voice is a little bit low. So I think it's on my side. Allow me to log out and log in again.
Makobura, unanisikiza?
Yes, you can hear me.
Hello, Makobura. Okay. Inawezekano labda kuna shida mahali. Hello, Makobura. Hmm, labda kuna shida mahali. Makobura, unanipata sasa? Makobura. Alright. Asante sana, kinakaa kuna shida mahali, but tutajua tutaitatua. Asante sana. Thank you everyone for joining, and even those who will be joining later. There's quite some news that I want to share with you, and you have to get informed. It's very important today. Makobura, can you hear me now?
Yes, good evening. I don't know whether I'm clear now.
Yes, I can get you now. And the initial say I was not able to get you. I don't know where the problem was. Um, I, I, I,
Okay.
I just want to share something here. This is bad news, I would say. Bad news to Safaricom users, as government can now deduct money from your M-Pesa without your you asking you for pin. Especially many M-Pesa users are raising alarm after discovering that the Social Health Authority can automatically deduct monthly health insurance contribution directly from their wallets without requiring a pin prompt each time. Safaricom has since clarified that the matter following customer complaint, explaining that this occurs when users have activated M-Pesa Ratiba, the telco standing order service launched in 2024 and separately authorized SHA for auto deduction. So it's something that you have to deduct if you activate it from what is here. So Safaricom says SHA can deduct money from users' M-Pesa accounts without prompting them to enter PIN number. This happens if the user has activated M-Pesa Ratiba, which is standing order service on M-Pesa services. So if you do not want it to be deducted automatically, so do not activate the M-Pesa Ratiba. So Makobura, that is something that also is there for M-Pesa's users, especially if you are paying SHA, it can be deducted automatically if you kind of like activate it, so that is what is there. Do you have anything new? All right.
Not really, apart from the news of demolitions which happened last night, which of course
Mm-hmm.
has caught the social media with a lot.
Yes.
People giving their views, and of course, the views are different. Some are political, some are, yeah, only that.
Oh yeah, we are coming to discuss that because that is the major discussion that we are going to have, especially in Nairobi. Uh, when you look at especially the property where that is associated with Governor for Kiambu Wamatagi, this according to his accounts, he paid a leasehold for that property from Kenya Railways, and he's saying that it is political. and the people are now arguing. And even if you go to social media, they are bringing some properties that sit on a public land that also should be demolished. They're just asking questions. That is also something that is there. Our neighboring Uganda will be going for election tomorrow, but as we speak, Bakobura, the internet is down. So I don't know why it is always, especially the government in place to shut down internet, especially when people are going for election. I don't know what fear that they have, or I don't know what they planning to do. But somebody say that internet might be down, but the cameras on the phone will be rolling. So you might shut down the internet, but at the end of the day, when the internet will be back, all those bad evil or those things that are constitutional or against the law that has been done by both parties, let's say the government and the opposition, will at some point reach the social media. What do you think about the Ugandans, especially Uganda and its government, or Museveni and his administration, shutting down the internet for um, Ugandans?
Okay, thank you so much. I did give my views yesterday
Mm-hmm,
on the matter that is there in Tanzania, and
mm-hmm,
specifically the issue of internets being shut down.
mm-hmm,
And I can categorically repeat what I did say here yesterday, that it is a bad culture that we
mm-hmm.
saw in Tanzania. And of course, we saw the repercussions. You saw what happened when that
Yeah.
government decided to do that. The people got to the street,
Mm,
and the aftermath of that is something that they're still battling as a country. It
mm,
doesn't pay giving people freedom to express themselves, to give their views.
yeah.
As a leader, you are supposed to listen to the people that you govern.
Mm-hmm,
And it is mandatory for any government who is really concerned about the citizens to give them time
mm,
to also give their views and to entertain, to enjoy being in those specific countries. Again, it is so wrong. Those are bad,
mm,
pathetic behaviors. We've seen them in Uganda, and I can say that we expected that in Uganda. Remember, part of freedoms that are even there in Tanzania, in Uganda,
mm-hmm,
it is even worse, because if you start criticizing the government in power, you
mm-hmm.
will be taken to you know uh, some courts which are not even citizens, courts,
Mm,
and you are going to be charged with things, or it's something very, it's difficult to understand. It
mm,
is only in Uganda that if you criticize the president, you are taken to jail. It is only in Uganda that a CDF of that particular can even threaten
mm,
a sovereign other nation, something that is really, I don't know even how to explain it. So the bad behavior in Tanzania has been there. It is a culture, but
mm,
I believe that there is quite a number of Ugandans who are not happy with those kind of moves, and that they would also wish to have freedom to enjoy life and to enjoy their human rights. And I can specifically say that the likes of Bobby Wine, who are also contesting in this particular election, as much as they might not have what it takes, they
mm,
might not have all the freedom and all the support
mm,
that Museveni is getting from his government, a government that he's currently the longest serving president. And
mm,
it's unfortunate that at his age, he's still, going for election and still threatening and even making it difficult, for other leaders to come into the limelight. It's so unfortunate. And those are some of the reasons that, Africa needs to rise. Africans need to fight for themselves. They need to fight for their rights, because in doing so, that
mm,
is the only way they will save themselves from bad governance. There is no way that a government
mm,
would shut down internet just because of the fear. They are not actually fearing the election. When you see a government trying to blacken things or not to
mm,
give the right information to the people, then they
yeah,
are planning atrocities. They are planning bad behaviors or bad things during that period. They're
mm,
planning to rig, and that is part of the thing that they do not want the world to know. Why would they? The life has been moving on in Uganda. People have been entertained. People have been getting all those kind of, you know,
Mm,
it becomes really difficult to understand why a whole government would be fearful of its own citizens, especially when
mm,
they've been on the right path, on the right track,
mm.
continuing to do what is right. It
Wh-
is
wh-
only
wh-
fear
mhm.
up when they want to do bad things and they do not want them. I mean, to be exposed to the world.
Do you think that Kenya will be exceptional, especially when it comes to shutting down, when it comes to
I I
court?
can guarantee you, I
Mm,
can guarantee you, as
mm,
a country, personally, me as a youth, a Kenyan citizen, I
mm.
wouldn't sit down and relax and wait that the president has given a directive that the social media or the internet has to be shut down. Those are
Wh-
illegalities. The courts of the Republic of Kenya have always pronounced themselves. Those are part of the rights that are entitled for each and
mm,
every Kenyan.
mm.
Whether you are coming from north or south or whichever part that you're coming, you have a right to communicate. You have a right
Yeah.
to ensure that you get all the information that you want at your fingertip or at wherever you want it. In Kenya, we've
So,
matured,
so
and
in the event, let's say that in the event that it happens in Kenya that the courts, maybe government might decide, okay, we are shutting down the social media because of this and this, and the good citizen of Kenya rush to court and say that, okay, it has been shut, and courts give pronouncement and they fail to obey those pronouncements by the court, because we've seen cases whereby there's so many pronouncements that have been made by courts, but the leaders ended up ignoring them. So in such a scenario whereby the court has given the pronouncement and they ignore, especially in this matter of uh,
I
internet
can
shutdown.
I can tell you, Brother Benson,
Hmm.
any law that is infringing on the rights of Kenyans and especially the youths would be met with I don't know even how to put it. You will see
Mm,
people on the street and they will not they will continue, they will sit, they will dance, they do everything on the streets. I can assure you that
mm,
Kenya has made quite a number of steps far much ahead. Their
okay.
bad behaviors, like even the court deciding to just annul that particular right, would
Mhm,
mean something else. The
mm,
people of the Republic of Kenya would not allow that. Look at what happened last year,
mm,
going against right of one individual. Remember this young man who was killed from Kasipul.
mm,
That made the entire country, you know, to fight for his life. So what
mm.
about something that is going to touch on the rights of millions of the people of Kenya? It is not going to be easy. I
Yeah.
have always said that uh, there are things that can leaders can do. They can
Mm,
bribe, wanaweza iba. And it is
mm,
not that the citizens are not aware, they are aware. The only
mm.
thing is that when that thing gets to the core,
Yeah.
the reaction that would be taken by the people would be one that, you know,
Mm,
they would not be expecting. And that is why some of the leaders have not come into term with
mm,
the demonstrations and the coming out of the young people who went through the streets. They've not
mm,
really believed that that was possible. Some of them are still living in denial because
mm.
they've always lived in a world that they can just do bad things and go away or get away with it. This time
Okay.
round, it is not as it used to be. We have a
Mm,
progressive youth, a youth that understands their right, a youth that understands that this is wrong. You can do the wrong things as a leader, but at
mm,
some point, when they start reacting against the bad things, they do so and they actively participate in
mm.
giving their views without fear. And whether even you've seen quite a number of them being abducted, being killed, that is not a threat to them. So long as
Okay.
I can tell you one thing, I do interact with quite a number of youths,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, majority of them, some they are learned, they have done what it's supposed to be done, but
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, they are not having the opportunity to either showcase their skills, to either get employment, majority unemployed unemployed, majority
mm,
are suffering not because they want to suffer, it is because
yeah.
there are no opportunities. And then some of them are saying, with the struggles that I've made, there are
Mm-hmm.
some things that I cannot allow somebody to do, to continue doing. I cannot bend down and beg for certain rights.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some of the views of the youth, and I can tell you,
Mm-hmm.
majority of them would not allow certain bad behaviors to continue, especially those that are going against their rights. The only thing that Kenyan youths and majority of Kenyans are enjoying is the freedom of uh,
Mm.
speech and partly the basic rights that are entitled they're entitled I mean, in the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Those are the only benefits that they have. If you want to curtail their movements, or you
Yeah.
want to, you know, disturb their movements or their rights, I can tell you they will. The narrative today outside there is that we are living, that you can go anytime, but before you go, fight for what is right.
Okay.
Stand with what is right. That is the narrative.
All right. Thank you so much. I can see our good friend Goodyear. Thank you so much for joining PGR6637. Also, thank you for joining. Kenya is hijacked by Ruto. Now youths are gagged by anything they post against Ruto, and others have been killed. So I see Ruto will shut the internet down. Yes, that is the question that I was asking. That if all the we saw it happen in Tanzania, it has happened even Uganda. It has happened even like it started from yesterday. And remember, they are having election tomorrow, so which means they shut it almost 2 days earlier before the election. So our question: what makes us exceptional of what is happening? This is something here that also the Ugandan president, as really said, he says, I quote, Uganda President Museveni, the RNM presidential candidate, has asked the Ugandan courts to speed up the release of Dr. Kiza Besije. Museveni said if re-elected tomorrow, he's going to bring reforms in judiciary so as to speed up cases like this one of Besije. How can you speed up these cases yet to be in power with the same judiciary for almost over 45 years? So what is going to be so special of you being elected tomorrow and makes those changes? Even you're 45 or 50 years in ruling, you've never made even one change in the judiciary. So what makes it people believe? These are kind of statements that are being made by these leaders just only to I don't know, to make people happy or to look for votes or what. Because like I believe for 40 something years you've been with the same judiciary doing the same things. So how are you going to speed up? Because it's about the evidence. If you want the independence of all this constitutional and all that. So I think these are just uh, do we call them lullabies or to I don't know. This is how some of this our leaders sometimes they talk.
I even saw the campaigns of the president of Uganda,
Mhm.
and I ask myself, imagine he goes to the streets and to campaigns, and he tells the people that these are the plans I have for you. I'm going to change this. I'm going to build the roads.
Uh,
The question I ask myself is,
uh,
this is a leader who has been in power for more than 5 years.
mm,
Within that 35 years, at his old age, that is the time that now he wants to build roads. He now wants to build hospitals. Surely, where are we? And then I ask myself, surely the people of Uganda can do better. It is only Museveni. It is not only Museveni who can save the Republic of Uganda. We have quite a number of good people. I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, we have quite a number of leaders within Uganda. We have quite a number of educated, whether talented, in terms of leadership. Look at this young boy from Uganda who calls himself the son of Africa. This young boy who knows the history of Africa at his fingertip. I'm forgetting his name, from Uganda. He has even met PLO Lumumba, professor, and he says
mhm.
that Lumumba is his mentor. I don't know
Mm.
whether you've seen that.
Yeah, I know him. I've seen some of his photos. He has traveled wide
Yeah.
in Africa.
Yeah, look at those. Those are kind of things that make you happy when you listen to that
That
young
young
boy. You see the future of Africa. You
boy.
see the future leadership, in them. We have good leaders in Uganda. Look at this man who has been tortured. Is currently now in hospital. Not really known whether it's hospital, whether it's in jail or what.
Mm.
You know, these are good leaders. Look at Bobby Wine. A young man fighting for the rights of the people has been arrested not once, several
Several
times.
times.
He has suffered quite a lot. Look at him. We
Mm.
have, if you stand fighting for your rights, fighting for the rights of the people, the only thing that they met, you get is you're being maimed, you're being abducted, you are being killed. It is you in Uganda. I don't know if you remember, there used to be a police officer in Uganda who was really against bad culture within the police force in
I
Uganda
think he
and
died.
corruption. He was killed. Not that he died, he was killed. Look at those kind of things. Why would you kill somebody because he's fighting for the rights of the people? Why would you kill a police officer because he's speaking about the bad things that are happening within the police force? What is wrong with that? You know,
Mm.
People should respect the lives of others. And if you realize that a fellow human being has been talented or blessed more than you, the only thing you can do is to give them away and try stay closer to them so that you get to learn. And that is why Raila operated the politics of opposition for quite long. He gave the people who had the opportunity, the likes of, for example, young people who are coming up. He gave them opportunities. Look at this young man from Kilifi who was appointed as a CS, Fikirini Jacobs. You give them a chance so that as they
Makobura,
grow, you get to.
Makobura, let me ask you about this young, because you're talking about appointment of Fikrini Jacobs in the CS. Do you think the intention of appointing that guy was genuine, or there was something behind it?
It wasn't genuine, but one thing I like with that particular
So,
young
so,
man, remember the
so,
first time he
okay,
resurfaced.
okay. If it was not genuine,
Let me
then
just give an
how do we say
clarification on
that?
it.
How do we say that this is empowering? Because if I am to empower,
Let
you
me
know,
give you a clarification
mm,
of the first time I saw Fikirini Jacobs. Remember, he was still the student leader of this university, Pwani University.
mhm,
And it happened that Raila Amolo Odinga had gone to the coast in Kilifi,
mhm,
and as he was addressing the people, the students shouted and said that we also have a president here. He can
mhm,
speak.
mhm,
And when he stood, he spoke. He's a talented leader. That is
mhm.
one thing that we have to accept. He is
Yeah,
a mass mover.
yeah,
That is one of the things that we have to accept. And
mm,
when Raila noted that this young man can make it in
mm,
leadership, he's a good leader, he's a fighter, he brought him closer. Remember, he was even actually going to vie for the senatorial seat, and it is a year it's Raila who told him to slow down, that he was going
mhm,
to be given a position
mm.
when Raila won. If you remember those kind of conversations. And
Yeah,
then when the broad-based came, that is
mm,
when they had their conversations with Ruto, and it is part of the people that were included in the government of William Samoei
yeah,
Ruto. But
true.
by the fact of noticing that there was something in him, that was a good thing, because partly he was given a platform. Remember, they were part of the young people who were moving around campaigning for Raila or the Azimio team.
Mhm,
That is what I meant. I do not really mean that him being appointed as cabinet secretary was a progressive or a good move. Not really. But just noticing and giving them a chance to express themselves was
mhm.
one thing that Raila used to do whenever he noted that there was talent or there was leadership around.
So, as we say that empowering the young people, um, how then uh, how then can we say that out of 10 young people who are around, or out of hundreds of them, maybe only one is given an opportunity, then we would say that is empowerment? or is it wiser enough, or is it wise enough, or if the government have strategies in that to make it or create more avenues for young people to get employment or to get into those jobs that they can, because like for instance, if it reaches a point whereby the only people who are given opportunities are the people because they are very influential, then what about those who are not very influential? Where are we going to put them, or where are we going to place them? Hello. Okay. Paul, thank you so much for joining. I was just asking
Sorry, Brother Benson, I didn't.
okay.
You said that singling out 1 out of 10, is that empowerment?
Yeah, because
And allow me.
the problem I
Yes.
have, the problem I
Mhm.
have with this, or my point of departure, it is
Mm.
okay to empower young people. That is something that everybody would want to. But how do we empower young people? Do we only empower young people through positions that are being given, or we can also use other
Brother Ben,
avenues by creating good avenues that
eh,
can absorb as many as they are?
yeah, I get your take.
Mm,
But when I did give, or I did use Fikirine Jacobs as an example, I
yeah.
didn't really mean that he has been, that was the right empowerment.
Mm,
I've given, a slight clarification on what I meant.
yeah.
Empowerment of youth, if you want to empower youth, is one,
Mm,
the first thing is making their lives stable in the
yeah.
sense that
Mm,
in whichever way that they can get something,
mhm,
something to mean that they can be able to get to a position where
mhm,
their daily needs, they can cater for it, they can easily marry. Currently, I can tell you even marriage is a problem amongst the youths.
yeah.
Those, back in the days, I've read quite a lot in history. People used to marry from 25 years to around 30. You'd find that majority of people would have married at that particular point. But
Mm,
today you see people getting past 30, and if you start asking them about marriage, the only thing they will, they'll
mm,
deep down they are willing, they want to get into it. But
yeah.
they are only fearful of one thing:
Mhm,
how am I going to manage my family? That has always been the stress that young people are going through. It is
yeah.
not that they do not want,
Mm,
it is that the economy and the lifestyle around cannot really allow them to have a good
mm,
life that they've always wished for. And remember, these are people who have invested either in education, some of them
mm,
sold land, some of them, have suffered to get to where they are.
mhm,
But unfortunately, they're not able to get what we call any they're not able to get anything that can sustain them or make them have a life that they have desired. That is
okay.
what we call empowerment. If somebody can do that to a young person,
Mhm,
then they are on the right place. But again, there's this saying that fundisha mtu, ukitaka kuempower somebody,
mm,
show somebody on how to fish. Teach them how to fish, so that when you're not there, they'll be able to fish and get food for themselves. That is
okay.
what we expect from leadership, but it is not there.
All right.
So
Mhm,
currently happening is the kind of empowerment we are seeing is out of greed. It's an empowerment that is not genuine. It is an empowerment that is coming with a cost, and that is
yeah.
now the difference of the. I mean, that is now the challenge that we are seeing with this kind of empowerments. I think that's my
Okay.
take on that.
All right. Thank you so much. We will still engage on the empowerment of young people. Today, I saw somewhere that there was a 22,000 that people got from Nyota Fund. I don't know whether somebody out there had applied, and you were lucky. You are among the luckiest to get the Nyota Fund. So unaweza katuambia na utuambie utaenda kufanya nayo nini. Asante sana. Naona Shaima Hussein. Asante sana kujiunga na sisi. Natumai kwamba uko vizuri. Um, there's issue here of Wamatangi, and Wamatangi had a business behind Kasarani, and that business was demolished uh, um, today in the morning in the presence of the police officers, and everything went down, billions of shillings. But there is no police officer or anybody in charge of the police who came to the press and gave the reason for demolition. You know, in some quarters or in some countries, especially if such kind of multi-billion property is being brought down or business areas being brought down, after everything is done, the police officers will come and give the reason for demolition, because like they were there providing the security. And another thing also, what happens in other areas, it doesn't usually happen at night. It happens during the daytime. You know, so the question is, why at night? Why we are not getting brief from the police the reason why it was being demolished? But information in the public is that this place was leased by Kimani Wamatagi and from the Kenya Railways. I don't know whether his lease had already expired. And so says that they want to build a terminus in that place. So that is what is in the public domain. But it also has taken a political angle, whereby they say that he's not cooperating with he's not supporting the government side, and some people have ended up accusing the national government, especially, to be in charge. Demolition of Watangi's business was discussed with Ruto. Gachagua claims. Rigathi Gachagua will not always miss out on something to say. Rigathi Gachagua has claimed that the recent demolition of Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi business premises in Nairobi was discussed with President William Ruto. Former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua claimed that the recent demolition of Kiambu Governor Kimani Wamatangi business premises in Nairobi was discussed with President William Ruto. In a statement on Wednesday, January 14th, Gachagua said the move against Wamatangi followed pressure from members of parliament MPs from Kiambu. On Monday, 12th January, this evening at Sagana State Lodge, members of the parliament from Kiambu County, led by the notorious one formerly known as his wife, confronted President William Ruto over the slippery political situation in Kiambu County and Mountain in generally, he stated. Gachagua added that the MPs expressed their concern over Wamatangi influence and growing popularity of the Deputy President Party. This expressed concern and frustration over the popularity of. So this is just like a literature that has been reported by one of us. So if Wamatangi is gaining popularity, why then go and demolish his property? Miguda, how are you doing? Hello, Mr. Miguda.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm very much okay.
Yes, where have you been? We tried to look for you. We could not find you.
Yeah, that's very good. I found you looking for me, but like yesterday I told you I was going to admit a certain student somewhere. So we finished late. I'm just getting to the house right now. That's why you could not get me.
Pole sana kaka, mimi nilisahau. Unajua pia saa zingine umri ikienda sana unapata kwamba unasahau. Sisi sasa tunaingia katika ile mkondo wa mwisho tunaitwa babu.
Babu.
Asante sana kakaangu kwa kufanya juhudi kuungana na sisi kwa mazungumzo.
Umetudanganya kidogo ndugu yetu.
Kivipi?
Ati unaingia mkondo wa mababu.
Sasa tuko hapo. Unajua, ukitaka kujua unaingia katika mababu, wimbo ambazo unasikiza kwa redio ama ni zilizopendwa, zile za zamani.
Ukisema hivyo basi itabidi basi tulete mwenzetu hapa Msimamo atuelezee maana ya kuingia kwa ubabuni, what it really
Babu.
mean, because I don't think so, and I don't believe you are not nearing there any soon.
Okay, sawa sawa, lakini tunaelekea huko. Migoda, swali iko hapa. Migoda, I thought you went to Oburu Odinga conference.
Who has asked that question? You know, I can't get the screen. Oh, oh, you know, let me tell you a story right now. That's just for introducing me.
Yeah.
I was following, you know, on my way back.
Yeah.
That's why you could not reach me, because I was following that rally online, and when I was coming back, and so I had some issues to do with the offline calls. So when I was following that meeting online, you know, the team is divided,
Yes.
and the discussion we had in the vehicle when we were coming back is that the Oburu wing are ready for the NDC right now, and that's why you saw him doing his politics right at Kamukunji, and you know, Babu Owino, Winnie Sifuna wanted to do theirs at Kamukunji, so we are waiting for them at the NDC. At the NDC, people are going to fight, so it's going to be between the young tax and the old tax. But now the old tax, let me tell you a secret right now, because I was actually having a reliable person with me. So by this weekend, this weekend, we are going to approach. Actually, they are going to kick them outside the ODM this weekend. That's a very sad situation. People like Sifuna, Babu, they are done with them. So what we were saying is that going forward, the TJ Kajuang, Antonio Lwach, Simbarati, you saw Simbarati doing the rally. They have bring their boys to Oburu Odinga and assured him to call NDC. So when Babu will come with these boys, they have to fight. Like I told you yesterday, because they're having the state support, the GSU. So expect war. And people are going to be kicked out of that NDC. So it's going to come. It's going to happen. So my good friend Shaima, that's the story I have. I was not on the rally. I wasn't in that rally, but I got the intels that we are going for the NDC. And the NDC, no one is going to be a coward. Everybody is going to be there, even Sifuna and Babu. So it is you have to take it by force. If you can take the people, so be it. You understand, it's going to be that. No, if you miss the NDC, then you are a coward, because they are the people who have been calling this NDC. So when it is called, you must be present. So that's the news I received on my way back. So I wasn't in that rally, but I got interest and I got information.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miguda, for that. And you know, luckily enough, let's pause for Matangi a bit, because Miguda has really taken us to another conversation about the rally that was held in Kamkunji, that is in Kibra, and it was led by Oburu Odinga. We had governor from Mombasa, governor from Kisii, and governor from Homa Bay. The governor from Migori was missing. The governor from Siaya and Kisumu. Definitely, the other governors do not have any positions in the party, so their absence is okay. But when you look at what was happening, Sifuna being the senator of Nairobi and also the secretary general of the party was missing. And as you said, that they are going to be kicked out, that is something that is underway, because, you know, the only person that has made it not very easy in the party to, especially to President William Ruto, I think is Sifuna. And one of the conditions that I feel, looking at it politically, that President William Ruto or the UDA has put on the table is that for us to start this negotiation, we do not want Sifuna to be the Secretary General, because, you know, the Secretary General is everything. He has the documentation of and the custodian of all the documentation of the particular party. So that is what might happen. Secondly, we know when you look at the history of all these political parties, Tell me of any political party that have gone to election, especially even in NDC, and voted for their leaders. All the leaders that are running these political parties have been running on interim basis or appointments. None of them, even in the history of ODM, there is no a day in the history of ODM for the last 20 years that ODM has had delegates meeting to elect their leaders, and through delegates, and then being ratified the same time. So majority of the leaders are the people who have been appointed. Look at Wanga. Wanga has been appointed as the chair. Mbadi was appointed as the chair. Ababu Namwamba was appointed as the chair, as the Secretary General. Lagat, even Nyongo. Nyongo was the first Secretary General of the party when at the initial stages. So none of them have been elected by the delegates. So that one tells you how it will be. Then before I invite you, even Miguda, because you can tell us more about ODM. You know, the factions of Babu Owino and Sifuna and James Orengo, to me, I feel the way it stands right now, they do not have a chance to fight because Sifuna is the only person that has a position of SG. But once he's taken out of that SG, I tend to believe that his influence, especially in the party, will drastically reduce, and the hostility that is going to be created, especially with his party members within Nairobi, is going to be bad because they want to make it very difficult for him, especially to influence or to get more influence. Remember what happened to Babu? You say that the boys. So that's what is going to be done. Even if you look at the meeting that took place in Kilifi, I think one of the reasons why it was taken to Kilifi is because maybe Edwin feared for his life. Even in Kilifi, you saw those boys who are Sifuna must go. You know, where did they come from? You know, so as you say, that is true. They might take him off, whether you like it or not. So that is what I might say.
Let me add something before we proceed, because today I was privileged to meet some people. You know, we met somewhere, and one of the people we are having a discussion was the current majority leader of the ODM in the Homa County. This guy from Dewa. I was with him and some colleagues because we had a very good team, ODM members actually, at the grassroots. And I was able to get informations. You know, when they speak for those big wigs. And what they were saying, they were very clear that that's why you saw Simba Arati today in the rally. And you heard what Abdul Samad told Simba Arati, that Simba Arati, we need your backup. It was not deliberate. It was very deliberate. We need your backup because, and Simba Arati responded by saying, I'm still having roots here in Nairobi. My guys are here. Even though I'm in Kisii, but my people are here. Because the intention is, let's call for this NDC, which they are calling for. Then at the NDC, if you manage to win, then we will shut them. And let me tell you, the way you have said correctly, plans are underway to kick these people out of the party. And politics is something that sometimes hard to understand. Because right now, they were discussing that Kikosi, yani they were saying Ida is the problem in ODM. They were saying all these things we are seeing today is because of this woman. And they were very particular that we want to kick out to Ida's team into the party. And we have extended an olive branch to give their brother or their uncle. You know, even no matter how Oburu look weak, but they have said, and let me tell you, you know, these things of NDC, some people need to understand it, how it works. NDC is you call the grassroots leaders to the national. Then that decision is final.
Yeah.
And right now they are very confident, and they said call NDC in Nairobi. Initially they wanted to go to Mombasa, and Sharif was willing to facilitate, but they have now made their mind. Just like I've told you. And today you saw Jalas was there, you saw Orero was there, and they're saying that's why they went to Kibra, because there was intel that actually Babu Sifuna Wini were planning to go to Kibra ahead of them, so they hijack it. That is why it was never planned. So that already they have gone to Kibra Kamkunji, and they are going to facilitate Kibra boys. They are going to facilitate Madare boys. You understand? The MP for Madare, Anthony Olwach, is on their side. TJ Kajuang, the goon himself, is on their side. And they were also saying Simba Rati to facilitate those people at Dagoretti North, so that because they knew very well that Babu is going to come with these youths from Bakassi East to disrupt that NDC. And that's how you take it. You go there, you disrupt, you take the people. And that's why Oburu Odinga was talking confidently. And that's why I want to tell the people that right now, plans are underway, and they are not going to turn back. ODM is divided. That's the reality. The Oburu team are going to retain ODM, and they are going to go with it to the negotiation. The Babu, the Edwin, the other teams are going to find their ways outside. They are going to be persona non grata in that party, and they are going to use Oburu Odinga as the party leader. So that's the reality. So you have to look where you fit. If you want to go to the Sifuna team, Sifuna team is going to have people like Winnie, Babu, Ida, Osotsi. There are many people, the likes of Caleb. But the Oburu team, even if they are going to be two people, they have made their mind. They are kicking these people outside the ODM. And that's the reality. So that's the future. And right now, if you get information from the locals, you call people around. They're saying, let's wait for weekend. Weekend, we are kicking him out of the ODM. So they're not. Right now, they don't care who you are, and that's the decision. It has been made, and it's final.
And thank you so much. And my question to you is, Makobura, are you still there? Okay, my question to you, Miguda, is because like there's something here that Uhuru Kenyatta did. Okay, maybe you will help me. There's something that Uhuru Kenyatta did, especially when he was running for presidency in 2013 for the first time. Instead of going with the KANU, he decided to form TNA. And you look at the history, especially of parties that have ruled or parties that have been in power. And once the face of the party dies or retires, they retire with the party. So when you look at Oburu and you look at ODM and the way now where they've reached its thorax, because right now they're getting backing, because like even today, in the political life of Oburu has never donated 3 million, but today Oburu was able to donate 3 million. Or sinilisikia alitoa milioni tatu, or am I, or
2 million.
Alitoa 2 million.
2 million.
In the political lifeline yake, mimi sijawahi sikia pali ametoa pesa, lakini leo alitoa milioni 2. Inamaanisha kwamba saizi pali limefika, hawataki chochote mbele yao ambao inaweza wazuia kupata yale malengo ambao walikuwa nayo. Ndio unapata kwamba hata zile 10 point agenda walikataa. Sasa niambie, Oburu beyond Raila Amolo Odinga atapeleka ODM wapi?
Let me respond before Makobura comes in, because me today I was with the ODM MCS, so I'm reporting something I got from the party. They were saying, there's something that we have to understand here. First, let me not be misquoted. I'm reporting to you people. These are not my decisions. These are not what I intend. These are just information reliable. I'm sharing with our viewers because it's very much important. I'm able to see the future as per their discussion. They were saying, there's something that they're trying to say. They were saying, for them, they don't care. They are behind Oburu, and they will camp behind Oburu. And anybody will go contrary to Oburu, they will decide their way. And that's why I was telling you. What you are just getting me, my brother Bezos. You have said they have reached a red line. It is true. Anybody who is going to stand on their way, whether you are popular or not, that is not their business. And what's happening right now is they don't care about 10-point agenda. They don't care about narco report. They don't care about Baba, whether Baba was a principal man or not. They are saying, even though they have been fighting for the human rights, but now is the right time to fight for the economic rights. And let me tell you, you saw Oburu donating 2 million. And when Salah came with the 2 million, Salah went ahead and say 2 term. But later Simbarati came and tried to correct things that we are going to work until 2027, then we'll negotiate. So sometimes it's very good to start adopting reality that Oburu wing, come what may, they are going to support William Ruto. There is no persuasion we are going to persuade them. Then Sifuna and Babu and Winnie, they will not engage to people like Oburu. So this is politics. And politics, people are saying, like the issue I've said Oburu, they were discussing, they were going ahead and saying Oburu is 82 years old. You know, we were having a roundtable talk. They were saying Oburu is at 82 years old. So why must Oburu fight for the people right now? And even if he can just enjoy for those times and he can go to his grave, so be it. That's why I was telling our viewers and my fellow young people, do not focus on Oburu. Whether he's going to join William Ruto or not, that is his own problem. As we have a chance as a young people, and we have not reached that age. The world is still, the world is not ending to tomorrow. We can still fight for those things as young people. We don't need to rely on people like Oburu, because Oburu, you cannot take Oburu to the street to fight. Oburu cannot even go to detention. But as we are still energetic, we can persevere those arrests, detention, because we still have time, unlike Oburu. So this was just discussion around the table. Now let me bring for you the issue of Orengo. You saw when they call SIA people, SIA MCS, including the speaker, to State Lodge in Eldoret, in exclusion of the governor. The discussion was, we don't care. Impeach that guy. We have no business. We have no issue with him. And that's why I'm telling you right now, where they have reached, they are not going to take those side shows, those whatever. That's why they were able to reach a solution in the absence of the SG. So to conclude, I'm concluding. I just want to emphasize that what you said right now is high time Kenyans to accept, and people not that there's no turning back to Oburu wing. They have gone. It's high time to start organizing that if you are either with Oburu wing or Sifuna wing, so that you can see or now you can forge ahead. And lastly, because these people are elected members of county assembly, various in the Nyanza, they were telling me that if I can get a road in my ward, if the stadium in my ward can be completed, I have lighter duties to discuss with my people whom I'm representing. Therefore, as for them, they have made a decision that is they are going to support William Ruto. So today I'm telling you what they have made a decision. So the people who are elected right now, most of them are going to support Oburu because they are saying anybody who is going to interfere with the Oburu decision, they are going to. Oburu might look weak or unpopular, but remember there are some regions that is going to shake those local regions. So they don't care even if ODM is going to remain with two people. That's the reality. So it's high time people like Babu and Sifuna should now give people their followers direction, because they are no more in that ODM.
Okay, thank you so much. And one thing with Oburu still rides on Raila Amolo Odinga legacy, and I'm still convinced beyond reasonable doubt that Oburu has so much influence in ODM, even in making decision, is the custodian of Raila Odinga legacy. He's there because of Raila Odinga, but he's not there because he is very influential. So one thing that will happen is that majority of local leaders that you see around, because sometimes politics is local, especially in their local areas. They also study the ground. Like for Sifuna and Babu, we know they are quite much tricky because they're in cosmopolitan, and it's quite much very tricky. So they have to find a way of balancing their political journey. But for me, what I'm convinced beyond reasonable doubt, because if you're very keen, Makobura, you'll also have to talk about this. When the Central Committee met in Kilifi, they had resolutions that they came out with. But there's one resolution that immediately everybody, that is both UDA and ODM, are so much on it. The path to giving the green light for Oburu to negotiate with UDA. And they're mentioning that each and every time, that Oburu and the NDC has made a very good decision. Listen to what Kaluma is saying, listen to what Otieno Kajwang is saying, listen to TJ Kajwang, all of them, what they are saying. It tells you that, okay, the decision has already been made. And I think this is one of the cards that maybe the UDA and the president placed on the table for the ODM, and say that, okay, if you want us to start this negotiation, one of the things is that we do not want people who are going to distract us from our negotiation. We do not want the likes of James Orengo. We do not want the likes of Sifuna. We do not want the likes of Babu Owino. We do not want the likes of everybody who is opposing, people like Caleb Amisi. But Sifuna is the person that is the target right now. And President might fighting Sifuna in background. Yeah, he cannot, because how Sifuna has always confronted the president, even criticized the president. So president said, okay, now this is what is going to happen. It is either he leaves or no. So, and that one, people like the leaders like Wanga are not going to sit down and say that Sifuna, let's say this democracy in ODM. There's no democracy in all these political parties. The Ds in this political party, those are just paper names. They're not working. Secondly, and this is where sometimes I usually say that sometimes we need to investigate, especially the people who are given our political parties. There's something that need to be changed, maybe in the near future when people like Miguda will be in power. One of the things that you should look into is about the positions in the political party. There's no way in which you are a governor and you are still you still have position in the political party. For now, we had the 3 governors who flew to Nairobi. Did they use their own money when they were flying to Nairobi, or did they use the money for the fund? And at the time when they were going for Nairobi, was it official, or it was a rally? So I think it is high time that maybe if people like Miguda, you people who want to get into the leadership, maybe if you form your political parties, anybody who will be given a position in the political party should not vie for any political seat, because you are an official member of a party. Makobura, your time.
That reminded me of something that has always been there to Kiambiwa, that young people are the leaders of tomorrow. And the only question I've been asking myself is, how are the young people leaders of tomorrow if they're not even being given a chance? There's no any motivation. Most of time, wanapewa tu vitisho. If you are not able and willing to be with us on this platform, unaambiwa that you can go look for another place. And that is the narrative everywhere. Look at, for example, what is happening in ODM. If you cannot comply or follow what the party leader is saying, then you can look for another party. Na hizo tu ndio vitisho zenye wanapewa. And remember, the people are giving these senior members of the society. These are people in their in their 60s, in their 50s, who still wants to get hold of power. And it's not easy at times to understand what is really happening in Kenya, not just Kenya, in the world, because the level of greed in the humanity, especially those in leadership, is on another level. And they say that God for us all, man for himself. Allow me to welcome a good friend, Msimamo. Msimamo, karibu. Tuambie umeshindaje, na vile vile we've given our views on quite a lot the demolition that was happening in Nairobi, and we understand that those properties were for the governor of Kiambu, Kimani Wamatagi, and we also saw what was happening in Kamkunjo, in Kibra, where ODM leaders were there, and they were saying that if you're not ready to listen, you should leave the party. You can give us your take on those ones before we move to something else. Msimamo.
Unanipata?
Nakupata vizuri ndugu yetu.
Asante sana. Habari ya studio hapo, maana sisi wengine hapa tuko salama, lakini japo tuko safarini, kwa tutaongea kwa kifupi, alafu tuendelee na safari kidogo. Nichukue pia nafasi hii kwa wale ambao wako upande wa comment section kule, wakiongozwa ndugu yangu Despona na wale wengine, lakini vile vile ndugu yangu hapa Mjuda, na kuna Paulo, kuna wengine wote ambao wanasikiza pia. Kiukweli mimi sitakuwa mrefu wa maneno kwa sababu kama nilivyotangulia kwamba niko safarini, na kiukweli ni kwamba ubomozi ule unapinzana na matarajio na mapendekezo ya mahakama. Sasa sijui kimtazamo wangu nani iko juu zaidi ya mahakama, ama nani anaweza pinzana na maamuzi ya mahakama, kiasi kwamba sheria haifanyiwi, yani haiheshimiki siku hizi. Sababu kama ndiyo kweli majengo yale ni ya bwana yule gavana, lakini yana matatizo ama tashwishi, lakini zipo njia za kisheria. So unaona kuna tetesi wanasema wamekuwa mahakamani, walistopishwa wasibomoe, lakini wamebomoa vivyo hivyo. Sasa sijui kwa ni namna gani ile. So kama nipigeni kama madai walivyodai kwamba mahakama ilikuwa imetoa oda usitisho wa ubomozi huo, lakini imefanyika hivyo kwenda kubomoa, basi ni sana kwamba pia kuna tatizo hapo la kuitii sheria. Lakini vile vile haswa haya hawa mabwana kusema kwamba mtu ambaye atakuwa asikizi chama ashike njia aende. Sasa si nani mwenye chama, kwa sababu wote ni wanachama. So kuzana kwa hali kama hii kwamba wengine wasikizwe wengine wasikizwe maoni kwa sababu hakubaliani, sio ni kama kuna tija, wala hilo ndio suluhu ambalo yule ambaye yuko chini masinani kama mwanakereketwa wa chama kwamba labda vile itakuwa analichukulia poa, kwa sababu chukulia mfano haswa wale wapenzi ambao wamesimama na mfano upande wa kina Sifuna, alafu upate kwamba kuna maneno kama hayo, unakuta kuna pande mbili, wale wanaunga wale hawaungi. So bado sisi kuna mkutano, na kwa hali hii kwamba chama ndio kimeisha mazima, hata wakijaribu kurekebisha kwa kila hali, lakini kwa kweli chama ambacho kitakuwa hakina uwiano na hakina ili kwa pamoja kuzungumzia hali zao, kwa kweli itakuwa ni kizaazaa. Alafu pia umeniuliza swali lingine la kwanza kabisa limenitoka, labda kingine unikumbushe ili niweze kumalizia hapo kaka, kama unanipata.
Thank you so much, a good friend, Mamo. And There's a question here from Goody. Why demolish people's homes, businesses, and all those kind of sorts? The question here is they are circulating whether it is true or not that there were notices that were given. But why do you think they went ahead to even kuharibu magari? Inasemekana magari za watu zilikuwa zimeegezwa hapo, after kuoshwa wako na carwash, magari zote zimeharibiwa. Was it really necessary? Again, if you watch that video, the number of police officers who are there at night, do you think it's necessary? That is the right way that we should go as a people. Msimamo, vile you can give us your take on what is happening in Uganda, where the networks has been shut down, the internet, because of the ongoing elections. What are your views on that? And do you think such a thing can happen in Kenya in 2027?
Yeah, it can even happen kwa sababu tumeona Tanzania ikizima internet na sasa hivi na pia wamezima internet ya. Hofu yangu na wasiwasi wangu, najiuliza maswali, nini kinajiri? Je, watu wanaogopa nini haswa? Kikubwa ambacho haswa mtandao hawezi achiliwa, nini kinazibwa hapo? Na bila shaka ni yale ambayo yameweza kujiri Tanzania ndio tutashuhudia Uganda, lakini vile vile pia tujiandae na sisi 2027 kukatiwa vile vile internet. Kama umekana ndio mfumo mzima utakotumika huo East Africa, na kama utatumika hivyo kunamaanisha kwamba kuna haki hapo, kuna sauti hapo ambayo haipendi haswa kusikizwa na hawa ambao wanaamini kwamba kukaa kwa mamlaka ni mwenyewe. Sasa wewe ndio ukiwa kwa mamlaka ndio kila kitu, wewe ndio katiba, ndio sheria, ndio everything. Sawa tuna hili la ubomozi wa nyumba, kwa sababu na sasa kuna tetesi kwamba kuna court order ilikuwa imetoka. Sasa kama ilikuwa imetoka court order na sheria haijafuatwa na kuchukua maamuzi kama haya ya haraka, kumaanisha kuna some people who are above the law. Kwa kama ni hivyo, sisi bado tuna mapungufu ya kuweza kuitimiza ile sheria ambayo tumeiweka kama mwongozo wetu. Kwa hivyo hayo ndio ambayo naweza kachangia, lakini kama ya Uganda kuzima internet haina tofauti na yale tunajiri Tanzania, na ni hivyo hivyo itakavyotumika pia huku kwetu wakati ukifika. Labda hilo ndio langu ambalo naweza nikaongezea kaka yangu hapo host. Asante.
Asante sana. Migulia, I'll also ask you the same. What are your takes on the shutting down of internets in Uganda at a time when they are going through the elections? We saw a similar thing in Tanzania, and of course, what is it that the governments are, what is it that they're hiding that whenever they're going for elections, they want the internet to be shut? Is it the best thing or the right way to go? Is that what leadership is all about? Why is it that they're not shutting down the internets in these other normal days, Miguda?
Oh, what I understand is that Uganda is still behind, and Uganda is still behind in terms of their laws, in terms of their rules, in terms of their constitution, because currently there is right to information, whereby any person has a right to access information. You can access it anywhere, anyhow. The vital thing is that I have the information. How I got the information, none of your business. And currently, if you are denying me to access information, you are interfering with my basic rights. Because, for instance, if I'm an international citizen and I want to access information on how Ugandans have carried out their elections for academic purposes or for international relations, I'm unable to access it because you have decided to shut down your internet. How will I know? How will I develop even our culture or our laws or our democracy? So I don't know. There are problems that they're behind, but what is very much important, when anything happens out of it, it will be justification that there was intent to do so, to execute whatever will happen. For instance, in the Tanzanian, when people died, the government denied that people never died. But later, people died. What happened? Internet was shut down. So it's justification that the government of the day shut down internet purposely to kill people. You interfere in the people's fundamental rights by shutting down the internet. Our neighbors in Uganda need to wake up and just to fight for themselves because no one is going to fight for them. Like Tanzanians should look. Even us in Kenya here, we are not contented. We have issues with governance. And that's why even today people are fighting. People are advocating for good governance. People want transformation. So it is a work in progress across the African. And what I can just say that you can only fight for yourselves. You can only fight for by yourself. No one will come and fight for you in your country. We can only do what we call, we can give public view, or we can decide only to do awareness of what is happening as international students, citizens. But the major part is the Ugandan people. Right now, they could be in court protesting the decision. Right now, they could be in the street protesting the decision. Right now, they could be writing to international organization, lobbying, so to protest for the decision. But if they are sitting pretty, change will come where they are sitting. Like our Tanzanian people, because people went to the street and and demonstrated far right for their rights. Right now, there is that involvement of international bodies who are doing inquiry of what happened right now. They are doing inquiry of what happened in the elections. They are doing inquiry of what happened in the killings of the people. And actually, there's this process whereby they want to draft their constitution right now, and there are people who are involved. Sometimes change is never easy. You have to fight for it. You have to sweat for it. So people will tell you that for how long will you go to the street? For how long will you protest? You can even decide to be disobedience. There's that civil disobedience. You don't need to go to the street to be shot by a police officer or to lose your life. You can decide to boycott or restrain from the government services. Then that's also part of the strike. I think, Makobura, we cannot say that we are perfect, even us as Kenyans. It's a work in progress. Democracy is a work in progress. We cannot say that now we are contented. We have reached where we are. We are contented with our economic or social rights. We are contented with our human rights. It's a work in progress. Even by those world who are the pro-democracy, are the super democrats, there are some issues which right now are in question. There are some historical events that actually are right now under investigations. And when people are investigated properly, you find that there are some people who have been arrested. Maybe somebody has been arrested in a foreign country. Some people, cases, their files have been opened. Those are the challenges of democracy, that you cannot get consensus at one point. It's a work in progress. So the people of Uganda, we just wish you all the best, but sometimes try to also voice out your challenges to the world so that there can be an inquiry by the international bodies. But as for the Kenyan people, we got the right to access information. We have the freedom of media. And that's why you saw right now, people are just doing social media content creation anyhow, without limitation. They only tried to bring the cybercrime bill to parliament. I don't know, it's still in the court, pending ruling. They wanted to put some measures and regulations, and they wanted that if at all it can pass, they will use it to shut down the internet during election. Right now, they cannot shut it down But if that bill could have passed, they could have shut it down, or they could have just said that you are not allowed to take photographs in a polling station and post. Or if there is people who have been killed, right now if you kill people in Kenya, you can post. They could say, okay, if people have been killed, do not post those things, those pictures. If you post those pictures, they're going to open for you a file and charge you with terrorist. Terrorist to mean that either you are aiding or you are part of it or you are promoting. Because, for instance, if I post a picture where people have been killed, it can, for instance, if you're in another region, you can influence other people to start fighting that our people are being killed in a certain region. So it means you are promoting terrorists, such things. They wanted it to happen. Right now you can do those things, but no one can take it to court because there's that terrorism act. It is not applicable. So that it's not applicable as per what they were trying to introduce into that cybercrime bill. And that's why in the cybercrime bill, they were trying to restrict Kenyans. They were doing some amendments bit by bit. So by the time you go to court, you are not going to argue on your right to access information, on your freedom of media. They will pin you down that act. And that's how they will charge you and convict you. But the good news is the judiciary is watching. And right now they cannot attract that one cannot happen in Kenya. You cannot shut down internet or you cannot shut down whatever foreign people. And that's why when we were demonstrating on that day, Ruto has no option. When Gen Z invaded parliament, he has got no option but to allow it to happen until he brought in the military to the internal affairs. Because you cannot shut it. How? Who gave you that authority? So I think it's high time we also encourage our people to, as we struggle as Kenyan people, we are not contented. We are not yet there. We should also pull our neighbors to be where the world is.
Okay, thank you. Allow me to give, to hear Msimamo take. Msimamo, we also saw UDA. After some few days, the ODM members decided that they're going to have a conversation. They permitted the party leader to have a conversation with the UDA party. And today we also saw a meeting that was held by the president, and UDA as well has permitted their party leader to engage ODM. And of course, it is an engagement that is all geared towards 2027 and the working arrangement for the next general election. Mr. Msimama, you can give us your take on the same, and then you give us your last remarks. Then Miguda will also come and give us his view on that, and then his last remarks. Msimama.
Ndugu yangu, asante. Hili limeshapangwa, lishaiva, kwa hivyo hatuna budi kulitazama liende kama lilivyo. Swali ni je, ni kwa faida ya nani? Hilo ndio swali libaki tu kujiuliza, ni kwa faida ya nani? Wao wamekaa, uongozi umeamua ndio hiyo njia, lakini je, kiukweli haswa ni nani hapa analazimishwa haswa huu kuhuba na huu urafiki? Na tukiutazama urafiki huu ni kwa faida ya nani? But hatuna jinsi, kwa sababu kama wao ndio wenye uongozi na ndio wameamua hivyo, wafanye kila ambao kwao wana kinatija, wacha wafanye. Lakini je, mwananchi amehusishwa kikamilifu, ameridhia, ama ni kubandikwa tu kwa sababu anabebwa kama kapu, kama jembe kwenye kapu? Na kama anabebwa kama vijembe kwenye kapu, basi halina tija kwa mwananchi, ni kwa faida yao, kwa hiyo walifanye kwa faida yao. Asante. Hii ndio kuongezea kwangu hapa, asante.
Asante sana Msimamo, labda kabla ukuje kutupea maoni yako ya mwisho, you can also give us your take on Ndindi Nyoro, the member of parliament of Kitaru, who has promised that every student in his constituency will only pay 500 shillings for them to learn in that particular constituency, whether you are residing or whether you are learning in that particular constituency. What is happening? Why are we not seeing such moves in other constituencies? Msimamo. tupe maoni na maoni zako za mwisho Osman.
Kwa hii ya Kiharu ni maamuzi ya kiongozi kuamua kuona kwamba hiki ninachokipata kwenye mgao wa CDF wacha nikafanyia lenye tija, na utakuta maeneo mengine viongozi kwanza hapo ndo kwenye kula kwao, wao wanang'ang'ana kuzidia debe.
Tumekupoteza mwenzetu Msimamo, sijui kama unanisikiza.
Ndio wanashangaa huyu jamaa alizipata wapi? Ndio zile zilipata sio 88 million. So hiyo anaifanyia kazi kwa minaji ya wale ambao anawaongoza. Sasa wasishangae kwa sababu hajakuona kwamba hizi zinamfaa. Alijua kwamba hizi za wale ambao ni walengwa na anazifanyia kazi. Kwa hivyo kufanya hivi inawezekana. Sasa kama hii tu kwa pamoja inawezekana, hivi mzee sasa analipa 500. Mbona isiwe katika taifa? Shida liko wapi? So ukijua shida iko wapi, tuondoana na hiyo shida, alafu tujipange vizuri ili tupate hawaki na ndilinyoro wengi hasa katika taifa. Asante.
Maoni zako za mwisho Msimamo?
Mwisho mimi ni kuwatakia kila heri wale wenzangu, ama niwatakia aswa wale ambao wako comment section, aswa wakoza ndugu yangu Jesper, alafu na wale ambao ni wakareketwa wa hapa ambao wanatusikiliza on daily basis, kwamba tujisahau, tujitambue haswa nafasi yetu ni ipi kama wananchi, then haya mambo tutamaliza vizuri, kwa sababu yeye yuko kwenye mikono yetu. So I believe shindikana na wengine wanavyotaka kutufanya, basi itakuwa ina tija, ila kubaki pale pale tulipo, na itakuwa ni hasara kungojea maembe juu ya chini ya mnazi. Asante.
Okay, asante sana. Thank you so much, a good friend. A good friend for taking time to join us as well. We appreciate so much. Allow me to appreciate everyone who joined us today and remind you that this is Brother Benson Media. And over here, we do say that your opinion counts. If you are watching for the first time, kindly like and subscribe to this channel, because if you do so, it is a way of supporting us, na sisi hapa tutasema ni asante. Bila kusahau, acha nichukue fursa hii vile vile ni pongeze and say a big thank you to everyone, including Good Year. Thank you so much, Good Year, for finding time to be with us. Paul, thank you so much for finding time to be with us. Really appreciate. Our good friend Shaima, asante sana kwa wakati wako na kukuja kujiunga nasi. Tunasema ni asante. We also saw a good friend PGR. Thank you so much PGR as well for finding time to be with us. We really appreciate. Once again, I'm reminding you that this is Brother Benson Media, and over here we do say that your opinion counts. And we do have this kind of conversations. Of course, these are conversations which are all geared towards the betterment of our country. We do give our views on politics and matters affecting our country. The reason why we do that is because we are Kenyans and we want well for this country. We are not politically aligned. We give our views not based on any political alignment, but we are open and giving straight our views. Thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to now wish you all a blessed night, a blessed morning, a blessed afternoon, a blessed evening from wherever you're watching us from. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you again tomorrow. Bye bye for today. Asanteni sana wale walijiunga na sisi. Tunaomba tena mkuje kesho, ndiposa tunaweza zungumza na tuendelee na mazungumzo kama kawaida. Asanteni sana, tuonaneni kesho.